Hello everybody, I'm Naman Jen coming out with a new tutorial. This is part 2 of the previous tutorial in which we made a GUI showing enemy health bar and the enemy health frame, which is over here, and it is resizable as we change our window size. Okay, whoops. And for now, I enabled our enemy back as we disabled it, and in this tutorial we're basically going to adjust our health bar, the red bar which showed up, according to our enemy's health. So before we do that, we first need to access our enemy's health so we can change it accordingly. Now the way we're going to do this, we're going to go from our script. I'm just going to explain what our script is going to do. We're going to go to our player object, and we're going to the fighter script, and from the fighter script we're going to get our opponent object. So this is basically the mob. We're going to get our opponent object, which is basically our mob, and then from our mob we're going to from our opponent we're going to get the mob script, and from the mob script in the end we are going to get our health. So it's this process of extracting data from one place to the other. If it is confusing, you'll understand it soon enough. Okay, so as I first said, first we need access to our fighter script so we can gain access to our opponent, so that we can get access to his health. So first we're gonna have a public variable fighter player. So now that we have a variable over here, we suddenly have access to our fighter script, so our player script. So you can go back to Unity, and we can go to our GUI script over here, to our GUI game object, into our enemy health script, and then as you can see we have a player which is null now. But if you press the little circle just at the right, you can go over here and double click, and then it's gonna assign it a script. And then what we can do is we can have a public mob target. So basically this target is the mob of which we're going to represent the health of, and here we're going to have a public float health percentage. So health percentage is basically going to be the ratio of the mob's current health to its max health. But before we do this, I did a little change before this tutorial. I'll just take it back. Max health. So basically first we need a public int max health in our mob script to keep track of what is our max health, and basically we want our current health to be equal to our max health, just like that. So basically once we go back over here, you can go to your enemy script, and you want to change your max health to 400 and your current health to 0, because when you start the game your health is going to change to the max health automatically, because that is how we set it up in the start. Health is equal to max health. Okay, so now we need access to our mob script. So what we're going to do is we're going to say target, which is our target we want to show this health of, is equal to player.opponents, because we want to show the health of our opponent, but we need the script of the opponent. So we're going to get the get component, and we're going to get the mob script. We're going to do round brackets and close it. So basically we have our mob script, and now what we want to do is we want to say health percentage is equal to target.health divided by target.max health, and this is basically going to be the length of our health bar. So basically if our target health is 50 and max health is 100, it's going to be 50%. If our target health is 70 and max health is 100, it's going to be 70% big. So we can watch this in action and hopefully does not have any errors. And I forgot to tell you one more thing. We need an if statement over here saying target dot if the opponent is not equal to null, only then you're gonna do this. So basically what you're saying is, if our opponent is not equal to null, which means that we're verifying that if we actually have opponent, and only if we have opponent, we're gonna do this, do these steps. Or else we are going to say health percentage is just equal to 0. So, and we're going to say target is equal to null. So if you don't have any opponent, if it is equal to null, we're just going to set target equal to null and our health percentage equal to 0. So let's see if this works. We're going to go to our GUI script, and as you can see, we have a target and a health percentage. And as you can see, as I drag over to my mob, it changes target to mob. And as I press spacebar, it changes it to 0 directly, and we need to check why. Okay, so the reason it goes from 1 to 0 directly is because of truncation. Now, truncation means that when you divide an int from an int, it is not capable of holding decimal points, so it just takes up the decimal points, resulting in just 0. So basically what we want to do is, we want to cast, meaning we want to convert our health, target.health, to float over here. So this is converting our integer to float for just our calculation purposes. Note that it won't actually change the float over here, it's just going to remain int over here. But just for this calculation purposes, it's going to change our target health to float and our max health to float. So basically now once we run this, and we go drag over, as you can see, it changes to 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, and so on. For now, we're gonna just make ourselves invincible, so it's easier and we don't keep on dying. So we just make our health, I don't know how much that is, but just for easier, just to make it easier. So now that our health percentage changes accordingly, what we can do is we can go down to our drawbar, and in our width over here, which says health bar position dot width, you can go at the end and say times the health percentage. So basically we're multiplying our whole width to the health percentage, so it shrinks according to the enemy's health. So now you're going to see magically the bar is going to shrink, and it is actually 0 for now, and that's because we don't. As we drag over to our opponent, it changes to full, and as we press spacebar, you can see that the health bar actually decreases. There you go. I'll just do it till the end as it goes to 0, and there you go. As it goes to 0, our opponent dies. Now we have a couple of problems over here. First, we can see that our health bar draws even though we don't have opponent. We only wanted to draw it when we have an opponent. So first, we're gonna say if target is not equal to null, only then we're going to draw the frame and going to draw the bar. Then we're gonna play, and as you can see, we don't have any bar yet, but the moment we drag over, we're gonna have a bar, and we can attack it, and it's going to reduce. Now we have a second problem, that it shows the bar even though we're not attacking it. We only want to show the bar when we're in combat. So for example, I'm just clicking on this and I'm trying to run away, and I get in out of range. Even though the player is outside, it still shows the bar, which is kind of stupid. So we want it to show the bar only when we are fighting with it. So basically, to implement this mechanic in our game, we need an escape time. So if you have played maybe World of Warcraft or any other kind of games like World of Warcraft, you're gonna see that after you hit the mob and not hit it for a certain amount of time afterwards, you will escape combat. So basically, not hitting a mob for a certain amount of time will make you escape from combat. So to implement that in our game, we'll have a public float escape time. So this is basically our combat, let's name it combat escape time. So now what we're gonna do is whenever we hit, we're gonna also have a public float countdown. So this is basically going to be a countdown to our escape time. So when we hit our opponent, we're gonna set our countdown equal to our escape time. So for example, it's equal to 10. Our countdown is equal to 10, and it's going to count down to 10, 9, 8, 7 till it reaches 0. And when it reaches 0, we're going to escape combat. So how are we going to do that? This is a little bit complex but not very hard. The Unity has a method called invoke repeating. This basically calls a method in certain amount of in intervals, so basically every second. I'll show you how. I'll demonstrate to you. If you don't understand it yet, I'll just show you. You'll understand. What repeat? This is just an example, and we're gonna debug.log. I am repeating. Let's say I'm repeating every second. And then we're gonna call the repeat method. That'll be the first parameter in quotation marks. We're gonna start immediately, so 0, and we're gonna call it every second. So 0 over here means we don't want to delay our repeating, and we want to start repeating it now. And 1 is basically repeating it every second. And I will just want to take out my debug.log health over here because it's annoying. And we're not going to actually collapse because we want to see it repeat every second. And as you can see, it's repeating every second. 1 second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as you can see, it's repeating every second. So this is what we're going to use in our countdown method to repeat every second. Okay, so now we're going to just take this off and this off. And basically we're going to have a method over here. Oops, saying void countdown. No, we already let's say combat countdown. And basically in this countdown, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say countdown, our variable. If we made one yet, didn't we? Oh, did I delete it? 1 second. Just checking so I actually explained to you guys. 1 second. So I actually explained you guys what countdown is. Sorry about that, I just forgot. So basically, first we're going to have over here, avoid combat escape countdown. So basically here we're gonna have a countdown variable, and we're gonna decrease it by 1. So as explained before, we're gonna have 10, 9, 8, and so every second we're gonna decrease our countdown variable by 1. And once it reaches 0, if countdown is equal to 0, we want to stop calling our method. So we're gonna say cancel invoke. So this basically means always reduce it by 1, and once we have reached 0, stop calling the method every second. And basically we are going to call the method whenever we hit a mob, and we're gonna go over to over here, because this is where we hit. We're gonna say countdown is equal to combat escape time, because we want to start it at 10 and then count down, or whatever the combat escape time is. And then we're gonna say invoke repeating. So we're gonna invoke We're gonna call this every second and decrease it by 1 every second. We're gonna invoke this method and put it in quotation mark 0 1. There we go, and we can see we are going to see this in action. And so as we go over here, we can see our countdown time is 0, and I'll actually take out this debug thing over here so that it's not annoying, and we're going to collapse this time. Clear. Gonna play, and as you can see, our countdown is 0. As we hover to our mob and we press spacebar, it changes to 5 4 3 2 1. Now the reason it does not go from 7 to 0 is because it actually calls this method once before it actually starts, actually twice before it actually starts intervaling this method. I don't exactly know why, but it always starts too less than what it actually is, and I'm not quite entirely sure why, but I know how to counter this problem. For example, if it's 10 and you press spacebar, it starts at 8 and not 10. I don't know entirely sure why, but I know how to counter this problem. It's just simple, just put in a +2 over here and it's going to counter the problem. Maybe someone in the comments can help me by telling me why it happens like that, but as I hover and I press spacebar, it starts with 10 9 8. So there you go, a reason, I don't know for why it doesn't work, but a counter to that problem. And now what we're gonna do is, in our enemy health bar, we're gonna say over here, so I took this off, we're gonna say if target is not equal to null, and only then you're gonna draw the frame. I think I did this before too, I just deleted it by mistake. And we're gonna say, and this is and basically saying this condition and the next condition should be true, and then only can go through this if statement. And player dot countdown is more than 0. I'll explain you this in just a second. So basically this says if our countdown is more than 0, so if you have not reached our countdown to 0, which means that we have not escaped our combat yet, you will still show the frame and the bar. Now I will show this in action, and we'll actually change this to 7 to just make it 5, just to make it easier. Oops. And then we're just gonna drag over, and then we're gonna press spacebar, and we're not gonna attack the mob, and after 5 seconds it's going to go away. So there's one last problem I just realized. When you go to your fighter script and you go over here, for example, if you attack the enemy, it starts invoking the countdown escape method, but if you hit it again, it's going to invoke it again. So it's basically invoking it twice, meaning that it's going to reduce the countdown by twice. So basically what you want to do, that before you invoke the repeating, you want to cancel it before, so that you make sure that if you're already calling the method before, you're not calling it anymore and you're starting a new one. So we're just gonna save that. We're just gonna check if it's working. We're just gonna drag over and press spacebar, and as you can see, it goes 5 4 3, and then if you press spacebar again, it normally restarts from 5. And once we get out of the way, the health bar disappears. So there you go, a working health bar, which pops up when needed and goes away when not needed. And there you go. People have been asking me to put the scripts online so you can access them. I will do them today. for the previous tutorial and this tutorial, and I will put every script online, which like all these scripts over here, so you guys can look at them. But I will request you guys please not to copy paste them, because for first reason it's not going to work, because you'll have to drag and drop values, and second, that's not the right way of learning. You need to learn like the reasoning behind it rather than copying and pasting. And people are also asking me to do an inventory system tutorial. I'll be doing that very soon. It'll probably in the next 2 or 3 tutorials that I will start the inventory system. So keep it up, guys. So yeah, if you have liked my tutorial, please subscribe, like, favorite, share, all the good stuff. It helps me really a lot. Okay, so bye bye guys, have a good time.